I heard her cry in the foundation. I'll never forget the sound. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to keep me awake every night for weeks. At first, I thought it was in my head, a soft broken cry coming from under the ground. But I wasn't the only one hearing it. My name is Kingsley, and I'm just a simple mason. All I wanted was to finish the job, get paid, and go home. But this was something else. It all started when Pastor Daniel decided to build his new church in our village. At first, everyone liked him. He had started as a small church which held its worship in the village square under a mango tree. Pastor Daniel would pray for people and they would get healed. Before long, he started growing members. His members began to increase. People traveled from far and wide to see him. He became very popular in our village and neighboring villages too. He was loved by all and sundry. Everyone knew him, tall, with a booming voice that could fill a room and a way of making you feel small just by looking at you. His ministry had grown so fast in just a few years. People said he was a man of God, but there were whispers too, things no one dared to say out loud. Rumors of him using supernatural powers began to spread like wildfire. Some believed, but a large number of people did not believe, as people were mostly interested in his church because of the miracle that they received. The rapid increase in his church membership led to the need for building a well-befitting church to accommodate everyone. The work started like any other, digging the foundation, mixing cement, laying blocks. I was part of the team he hired to build the church, along with my cousin, Tony, and a few other men. The money was good, better than usual. I didn't ask why. One night, Pastor Daniel called a meeting at the site. It was late, close to midnight. He said it was for prayers, but something felt off. He brought a young girl along with him. She couldn't have been more than 16. She looked scared, but she didn't say a word. I need this church to stand strong, Pastor Daniel said. His voice was calm, but his eyes, there was something cold in them. You must dedicate it properly to God, he said. We all nodded, thinking it was just one of his usual dramatic speeches. Then he told us to dig a hole deeper than the rest of the foundation. I remember the girl standing there, shaking. Her name was Mary. Initially, I did not recognize she was the one with the pastor. It was not until the news of her disappearance broke that I recollected that the girl with the pastor that evening was Mary, an orphan, staying with one of the women in the church. That night, she kept glancing at Pastor Daniel like she wanted to run, but she didn't move. When the hole was ready, Pastor Daniel told everyone to close their eyes and pray. We all started praying with our eyes closed. That's when I heard it. The sound of something heavy hitting the ground and a muffled scream. I opened my eyes just a crack and saw them dragging Mary away and lowering her into the hole. She was alive. Bury her quickly before they see you, Pastor Daniel told the men he contracted to do the job for him, his voice sharp like a whip. He didn't want us to see what happened. He didn't know we saw what happened. My heart stopped. I froze, unable to move. Tony grabbed my arm, his face pale. Kingsley, we have to go now. But we didn't. We were too scared. We watched as they covered the hole with cement. Her cries growing weaker until there was nothing but silence. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't stop hearing her voice. The next day, Pastor Daniel came back with food and money for everyone. He acted like nothing had happened. The other workers seemed fine, laughing and joking as they walked. But Tony and I, we couldn't even look at each other. That's when the strange things started happening. At night, we'd hear the crying again, faint but clear. Some of the workers began complaining of nightmares. One man swore he saw Mary's face in the cement, her eyes wide with fear. The church opened a month later, and people came in droves. Miracles happened there, or so they said. The sick were healed. The barren had children. and Pastor Daniel grew even more powerful. But the crying didn't stop. Strange things started happening in the village. People started missing from time to time. No one was able to explain why or what is happening. Pastor Daniel's church held powerful crusade in the village every once in a while. People from all over the world trooped in and out of our village, seeking miracles to their problems. The gospel of Jesus Christ was hardly preached, but prosperity and riches was the center of discussion. During those crusades, some children who came with their parents will go missing, with no one able to give account to what happened to them. One Sunday, I couldn't take it anymore. I stood outside the church listening to the choir sing, and I swear I heard her voice underneath their song. I told Tony we had to do something. "You will get us killed," he said, but he followed me anyway. We went to Mary's guardian. She was known in the village as Veronica the food seller, and told her everything. At first, she didn't believe us, but then she broke down, saying Mary had disappeared the same night we were at the site. She thought she had run away. Veronica went to the elders. They confronted Pastor Daniel, but he denied everything, said we were lying to bring him down. The village was divided. Some believed us, others didn't. It wasn't until the crying got louder, echoing through the church during a service, that people began to question him. A group of men broke into the foundation late one night and dug up the spot where we had buried Mary. They found her bones. Pastor Daniel tried to flee, but the villagers caught him. He confessed everything, saying he had been promised powers and wealth by a spiritualist if he offered a virgin as a sacrifice. The church was closed down. People stopped talking about miracles and started talking about discernment. Pastor Daniel was handed over to the police, but the damage was done. Even now, when I pass by the abandoned building that was called a church, I hear her, not crying anymore though, just silence. And that silence is the loudest thing I've ever heard. This is a great lesson to all those desperate people who go into administration with the intention of making money and not to serve God. So many people are into church business and not to win souls for Christ. This video will serve as a lesson to warn you. Your days are numbered. Nothing is hidden under the sun. A day of reckoning is coming. Repent now and return to God. And to all those who go to church seeking miracles, signs and wonders, worshiping their pastors instead of worshiping God and seeking Him in spirit and in truth, do stop it.